This is Christina Ruffini. In the fight against disinformation, this is the front line. In Prague, writers, producers, and social media hosts for Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty are battling Kremlin propaganda.
Our role is to provide surrogate journalism, essentially local journalism, in countries where freedom of the press is under assault.
Jamie Fly is the president of RFE, which operates in 27 languages and 23 countries, including Russia.
These are countries where the message is decided every day in a government office about what people should see, what they should hear, what they should be told.
What is it like covering this conflict as a Russian?
There is no easy way to talk about it.
Ksenia Sokolyanskaya is an anchor for RFE's Russian language network.
I don't want to push anyone, and I think that people should come to conclusions themselves. They need to have the options, and that's the biggest problem with media in Russia. There are no other options.
Those other options disappeared earlier this month when Russian President Vladimir Putin imposed a restrictive new media law, forcing almost all independent outlets to shut down.
We were warned that unless we started to censor our content about the war in Ukraine, that we would be blocked. We refused to censor, and so our websites are now blocked inside Russia.
And that's where Patrick Bowler comes in.
In part, it's a cat and mouse game where you try to anticipate what they're going to do and you react.
He's the head of digital strategies, helping keep RFE and its consumers one step ahead of the censors. So is it kind of a race against time to stay ahead of whatever measure they're implementing?
They would block our site, then they might block the copy of our site, but then we just create another copy of our site, and another copy.
It's like whack-a-mole, that
right.
game. The strategy seems to be working. Since the war began, RFE says its page views from inside Russia are up 51%. Getting past Russian censors is familiar territory to RFE. It started in the 1950s as a Cold War counter-propaganda machine.
Radio Free Europe combats the Soviet lie with 21 transmitters,
Piercing the Iron Curtain with shortwave radio broadcasts.
Radio Free Europe needs and deserves our generous help.
It claimed to be entirely funded by public donations, but that wasn't true, as CBS's Mike Wallace reported in 1967.
Radio Free Europe needs your support.
If you responded to the many appeals for Radio Free Europe, then you became part of a CIA cover.
CIA involvement ended in 1971, and RFE became an independent agency, openly funded by Congress. Still, since the fall of the Soviet Union, the organization has seen its relevance questioned and its funding slashed, even as Moscow has retooled its messaging machine for the digital age.
It is harder to reach audiences now. State propaganda today is much more sophisticated. We have to compete more and have to be more relevant and nimble than we did during the Cold War to adapt to new audience trends.
Far from a Cold War relic, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty says its mission is now more relevant than ever. Earlier this month, Congress increased the agency's budget 15%.
Information, honest, truthful, objective reporting will play a huge role eventually in helping bring about change inside Russia.
So you think ultimately truth will win out?
Everyone in this building subscribes to that notion, otherwise they wouldn't be working for Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty.